The day before my wedding, my paralyzed legs, crippled after saving Jason's life, finally healed completely. I excitedly went to find him, only to see him embracing a girl I'd sponsored, receiving a pregnancy injection. After the injection, Lily giggled, pulling Jason into the hospital's handicapped restroom. "Jason, honey, the baby's stable now. Want to try something different? And here, it might remind you of Sarah, adding some spice, right?" "Shut up! Who gave you permission to joke about Sarah?" Jason yelled, but moments later, their breathless moans filled the air. My blood ran cold. I never imagined the man who cherished me, promising to wait until after marriage, was already consumed by another woman, even had a child with her. I decided not to tell Jason I was healed, or that I was marrying him. I turned and texted my mom. "Mom, I'm changing my fiancé to Jason's older brother, Mark. Forget Jason, I'm done." It took a while, but finally, Jason reluctantly emerged from the restroom with Lily. I followed them to a mansion. The open front door revealed Jason's brothers, each holding streamers and confetti cannons, shouting as the couple entered. "Congratulations to the expectant parents. Jason's becoming a dad." I gasped. Then Jason's mother appeared. "Let me hold my precious grandchild. Thank goodness Lily's pregnant before Jason's wedding, or I'd never let that cripple marry my son." Jason's best friend chimed in. "Exactly. Who in this whole city would marry Sarah, that disabled girl, except for our responsible Jason? Always acting like a rich spoiled brat, she's nothing compared to Lily. I'm first in line to be godfather once the baby's born." Jason's face darkened slightly. "Keep those comments to yourselves. Sarah got hurt saving me. Show her some respect." The others ignored me, urging Jason and Lily to kiss. Jason looked at Lily with tenderness and embraced her in a passionate kiss. I stumbled back home, overwhelmed. I realized Jason's secret love nest was right behind our house. The pain was unbearable. The people who once called me dear daughter-in-law and sister-in-law with respect now revealed their hideous faces. My mother called, "Honey, Mark agreed to the marriage and he wants it soon. A betrothal announcement tomorrow. Sweetheart, if that jerk Jason's no good to you, let's be rid of him, okay?" I choked back tears and said yes. This world of lies, I wanted to escape as quickly as possible. Jason returned late at night, his face glowing with happiness. "Sarah, work kept me late." "Sarah, why are you crying?" He rushed to my wheelchair, his eyes red with worry. "Is your leg hurting again? I wish I could bear the pain for you. Relax, let me massage it." He carried me upstairs, massaging my legs as always. Whenever I suggested a nurse, he insisted he couldn't bear to let anyone else do it. Seeing his tenderness, I felt only cynicism. "I went to the hospital today," the doctor said. I started, Jason's eyes filled with concern. "You went to the hospital? Sarah, you didn't see anyone you know, did you?" The absurd scene replayed in my mind. I shook my head. Jason sighed in relief. "Sarah, it's not safe for you to go out alone. Tell your husband where you're going next time, or I'll worry." Was he worried about me, or about me discovering his affair? There won't be a future with Jason, not anymore. Jason made me milk and helped me take my medicine as usual. After he left, I spat out the pills. My legs were healed, the medicine was no longer needed. That night, my door creaked open and my heart pounded. Then, I heard the sounds of kissing and panting. "Jason, be gentle with the baby." I was shocked, opening my eyes to the reflection in the window. Against my bedroom door, Jason was passionately kissing Lily's neck, their clothes already half off. This wasn't the first time. My medication contained a sleeping agent. I always slept through the night. Jason confirmed my suspicions. "Little vixen, you're usually loud here. What's with the shyness, huh?" Tears streamed down my face, but Lily started sobbing. "You only know how to bully me. I just thought, with your brother's engagement party tomorrow, all your family will be there. It's fine for me, but the baby should meet his family." Jason sternly refused. "No, I can only bring Sarah to that event." Lily cried harder. "I know, I'll never compare to Sarah. If it weren't for you, why would I be your secret lover, making this child illegitimate?" Jason kissed her tears away, hesitated, then relented. All right, I'll take you. Stop crying, little crybaby. You're getting so demanding. Don't cry, let me kiss you, huh?" The mattress beside me sank. Jason brought Lily to my bed, his movements becoming gentle. He didn't leave until dawn. My pillow was soaked with tears. I closed my eyes, exhausted. Soon, I'd be someone else's bride, washing away this shame. "Wake up, sleepyhead. Drink your porridge and take your medicine." Late morning Jason, smelling of shower gel, woke me, leaning in to kiss me. I dodged him, looking at the porridge he'd brought. Shrimp porridge from Xiangji, Lily's favorite. It would cause an allergic reaction with my medication. Jason used to remember these details better than me. I chuckled wryly. "No appetite. I'll eat later." Jason was still oblivious. "Okay, Sarah, don't let it get cold. My brother's flying back for the engagement party tonight. It'll be crowded. I'm afraid you'll be uncomfortable. Stay home. I'll be back soon." I lowered my gaze and asked, "Jason, what if I was engaged to your brother?" Jason scoffed instinctively. "My brother is the pillar of our family. Our elders would never allow him to marry a disabled." He realized his mistake, quickly changing the subject. "Sarah, don't say things that make me jealous. We're in love. You'll only be my wife." Before I could respond, Jason's phone buzzed. His eyes lit up. He said, "Wait for me," and rushed out. I watched him go, then stood up from my wheelchair. I took out my wedding dress, hidden at the top of my closet. I'd prepared it for my engagement party with Jason, which he'd canceled after the accident. He'd said it was to avoid overexertion. Now I realized he'd probably found me unfit to appear in public. But now, I finally had the chance to wear it for my real engagement. After putting on the dress, a pink pair of underwear fell from under the closet, stained and damp. A text from Lily. "Sarah, you saw the little surprise I left you, right? Jason was too busy to notice you waking up." I saw you cry. I don't understand. Why are you so selfish? You've supported me for so long, why not just give Jason to me? Do you know Jason said the thought of doing that with you made him sick? If I were you, I'd kill myself. Stop being Jason's burden. And you heard last night? He's taking me to the family dinner. Mark's back, the head of the family. If I get close to his fiancée, who do you think will marry into the family? You, a cripple, or me, carrying his child? Perhaps my feelings for Jason had completely faded. Lily's provocation didn't stir me. I replied, really? I wish you the best of luck. I put away my phone and put on my heels. At the corner, I saw Jason pinning a half-dressed Lily against the balcony. He'd rushed out for this. I hailed a cab, heading to the salon. Arriving at the engagement party venue, it was a sea of luxury cars, reporters, and cameramen. I confidently walked into the hall, meeting Jason and Lily. Seeing me, Jason panicked, pushing Lily away. He saw me standing and gasped. Sarah, when did you recover? Great! You'll finally be the most beautiful bride at my wedding. I'm so proud of you, Sarah. He rushed towards me to hug me. Just then, his brother was waking towards me.
Mark's footsteps halted the entire room. Unlike Jason, who always wore a charming smile, Mark carried the cold authority of someone used to being obeyed. Conversations died one after another as he entered. His gaze landed on me. For a moment, surprise flickered across his face. Then he walked straight toward me. Jason reached me first, grabbing my hand excitedly. Sarah, this is incredible. You're standing. Why didn't you tell me? We need to tell everyone. Before he could finish, Mark stopped beside us. The crowd immediately quieted. Jason smiled awkwardly. Big brother, look. Sarah recovered. Mark's eyes never left mine. Congratulations. His voice was low and calm. I smiled back. Thank you. Jason suddenly felt something was wrong. His smile stiffened. Why were we acting like strangers? Before he could ask, the host climbed onto the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending tonight's engagement banquet. Applause erupted. Jason leaned closer to me. Sarah, after tonight, let's finally start planning our wedding again. I looked at him. At this face I had loved for 7 years. The face I once believed I would spend the rest of my life beside. Then I gently removed his hand from mine. No need. Jason froze. What do you mean? The host continued speaking. Tonight is a special occasion. We are gathered to witness the engagement of the eldest son of the Harrison family. Jason frowned. Something about those words suddenly made him uneasy. Mark stepped forward. The spotlight followed him. The room instantly erupted in cheers. Mr. Harrison, the future head of the family. Mark accepted the microphone. His gaze searched the crowd until it found me. Then, in front of everyone, he extended his hand. Sarah. My heart beat once. Slowly, I walked toward him. The room became silent. Jason's face turned pale. Sarah. Mark looked at me. Will you join me? I placed my hand in his. The next second, gasps exploded throughout the hall. Jason staggered backward. His mother nearly dropped her wine glass. Lily's smile disappeared completely. Mark calmly announced, Allow me to introduce my fiancée, Miss Sarah Wilson. The entire hall erupted. What? Sarah? Isn't she Jason's girlfriend? Jason looked as if someone had punched him. No. His voice cracked. No, that's impossible. Mark wrapped an arm around my waist. Impossible? His cold eyes swept over Jason. Then perhaps you'd like to explain why my fiancé was abandoned for another woman. The hall instantly fell silent again. Jason's blood drained from his face. Big brother, Should I continue? Mark asked. Jason's lips trembled. For the first time in years, he looked genuinely afraid. Then a familiar voice suddenly cut through the crowd. That's enough. Jason's mother rushed forward. She pointed at me angrily. Mark, you've been deceived. This woman used to be engaged to Jason. She's doing this because she's jealous. The crowd immediately began whispering. Mark didn't even glance at her. Instead, he pulled out a small stack of photographs. One by one, they scattered across the floor. The pictures showed Jason and Lily entering hotels, holding hands, embracing, kissing. The room exploded into chaos. Lily's face turned ghostly white. Jason stumbled backward. Where did you get those? Mark's expression remained cold. I investigate everyone who comes near my family. He looked directly at Jason. Unfortunately, I discovered my younger brother was betraying the woman who saved his life. Every eye turned toward Jason. His mother froze. His friends lowered their heads. No one dared speak. Mark continued. Sarah lost the use of her legs saving him. And while she was recovering, he got another woman pregnant. The crowd's expressions transformed from shock to disgust. Jason's mother tried to argue. But this time nobody listened. Lily suddenly rushed forward and grabbed Jason's arm. Jason, you promised you'd protect me. The words only made things worse. The reporters immediately started taking photos. Flash after flash filled the hall. Jason's reputation shattered in real time. Enough, Jason roared. He turned desperately toward me. Sarah, please. It isn't what you think. I laughed softly. The sound surprised even me. After everything, I found I could no longer cry. You brought her into our home. You brought her into my bedroom. You watched me take medicine every night while lying to my face. Jason froze. I stepped closer. And you knew my legs were getting better. His eyes widened. I smiled bitterly. You were never afraid of losing me. You were only afraid I'd discover the truth. The entire hall fell silent. Jason looked like a man watching his world collapse. For several seconds, he couldn't speak. Then he suddenly dropped to his knees. Sarah. The crowd gasped. Tears filled his eyes. I was wrong. Please, give me one more chance. I looked down at him. This was the man I had once loved enough to sacrifice my future for. Yet standing there, I felt nothing. No love. No hatred. Only relief. I gently removed the engagement ring he had given me years ago. Then placed it in his hand. It's over, Jason. The ring landed in his palm with a soft click. A tiny sound. Yet it seemed louder than anything else in the room. Behind me, Mark extended his hand. This time, I took it without hesitation. And together, we walked toward the stage, leaving Jason kneeling alone behind us. The next morning, every headline in the city carried the same story. Heir exposed for affair days before wedding. Pregnant mistress crashes engagement banquet. Woman who saved fiancé betrayed. The internet exploded. People who had once praised Jason now condemned him. His company's stock began falling. Investors questioned his judgment. Business partners started distancing themselves. And the worst part? The evidence kept coming. Mark's investigation had been thorough. There were years of messages. Hotel records. Financial transfers. Gifts purchased with company funds. Every day brought a new revelation. Jason called me hundreds of times. I blocked every number. Then he appeared outside my house. I watched from the window as he stood in the rain for hours. When he finally saw me, he dropped to his knees. Sarah, I'll break up with Lily. I'll do anything. I opened the door. For 1 second, hope appeared in his eyes. Then I handed him a folder. Inside were the legal documents transferring every investment I had personally made into his businesses. The money I'd provided. The connections I'd introduced. The projects I'd funded. All withdrawn. His face went white. You can't. I can. I smiled. I built half your success. You just never noticed. Then I shut the door. 3 months later, Jason's company was drowning in debt. Without my family's backing, contracts vanished. Without investor confidence, expansion plans collapsed. Without his reputation, even old friends disappeared. The same people who had mocked me now avoided him. His mother suffered next. For years she had boasted about marrying into wealth. Now every social circle knew how she had treated the woman who saved her son. Invitations stopped arriving. Charity boards quietly removed her. People smiled to her face and laughed behind her back. One afternoon she came to my mother's house. For the first time in her life, she bowed. Please, please forgive Jason. My mother laughed. Then had security escort her out. As for Lily, she believed she could replace me. Reality proved otherwise. Once Jason's fortunes collapsed, so did his devotion. Arguments became daily occurrences. The luxury apartment disappeared. The gifts stopped. The attention vanished. Soon she discovered something else. The baby she had used as leverage no longer guaranteed a future. One day, she publicly accused Jason online. Jason responded by releasing evidence that she had intentionally pursued him while accepting my sponsorship money. The scandal consumed both of them. Their names became synonymous with betrayal. Meanwhile, my own life transformed. The announcement of my recovery spread quickly. People who hadn't seen me in years were shocked. The woman in the wheelchair was gone. In her place stood someone stronger than before. Mark never pressured me, never rushed me, never demanded forgiveness for wounds he hadn't caused. He simply stayed. Day after day. Steady. Reliable. Patient. Everything Jason had pretended to be. 6 months later, I married Mark. The wedding was held at the city's largest estate. Every major family attended. As I walked down the aisle, I noticed someone standing far beyond the gates. Jason. Security had already turned him away. He stood there silently, watching, looking at the life he had thrown away. When our eyes met, he looked as if he wanted to say something. Perhaps apologize. Perhaps beg. Perhaps simply ask why. But I turned away before he could. Some chapters don't deserve rereading. Years later, our first daughter was born. Mark cried harder than I did. Our son followed 2 years later. The family that once rejected me now spoke my name with respect. Not because I had married well. Not because I had taken revenge. But because I had survived. And thrived. One evening, I heard news about Jason. His company was gone. His friends were gone. Even Lily had left. He lived alone now. The reporter asked if I wanted to hear more. I shook my head. No. Why not? I looked at my husband helping our daughter ride her bicycle. At my son laughing in the garden. At the life I had rebuilt. Then I smiled. Because he's no longer part of my story. And for the first time in many years, that was completely true. A year later, the city was still talking about Jason Harrison's downfall. Losing his company had made headlines. Losing his fiancée had fueled gossip. Losing his reputation had entertained the public. But what people remembered was the irony. The kind that felt almost scripted by fate. Years earlier, Jason had complained about caring for me. He thought those conversations would remain private. They didn't. During the investigation, Mark uncovered years of messages. One in particular spread across the internet. Sometimes I feel trapped pushing that wheelchair around. The backlash was immediate. Then life dealt Jason a cruel lesson of its own. Several months after the scandal, he was driving home from a business meeting when his car collided with a truck. He survived. His spine did not. When he woke in the hospital, the doctor delivered the verdict. Your injuries are permanent. You'll need a wheelchair. The words landed like a sentence. For years, Jason had viewed my disability as a burden. Something inconvenient. Something that diminished my worth. Now every staircase became an obstacle. Every narrow doorway a frustration. Every curious glance from strangers a reminder. The life he had judged from a distance became the life he lived every day. People called it karma. Jason stopped calling it anything at all. His mother faced her own reckoning. For years she had looked down on me. At one family gathering she had loudly declared, "Who would marry a cripple except my son?" After Jason's accident, someone dug up the quote. It spread across every social media platform. The screenshot followed her everywhere. Every interview. Every charity event. Every public appearance. The woman who mocked disability became known as the mother who had to watch her own son struggle through it. Money couldn't buy back public respect. Lily's victory lasted less than a year. She had spent years chasing the Harrison name. The wealth. The status. The lifestyle. After Jason's fall, she finally became his wife. The wedding she had always wanted arrived. The dream she fought for became reality. Then the illusion shattered. The family fortune was shrinking. The invitations stopped coming. The luxury disappeared. What remained were hospital appointments, financial stress, and constant arguments. The man she had stolen was suddenly far less desirable when there was nothing left to gain. Within a year, she filed for divorce. The child she once used as leverage ended up spending most holidays with relatives. Jason's friends weren't spared either. The same men who had mocked me behind closed doors discovered that private messages have a way of becoming public. Screenshots surfaced. Every insult. Every joke. Every cruel comment. Employers took notice. Business partners distanced themselves. Families demanded explanations. One lost a promising political career. Another was pushed out of his family's company. The group that had once laughed together spent the next few years blaming one another for the fallout. Yet the harshest punishment belonged to Jason. Because what he wanted back wasn't his company. It wasn't his status. It wasn't the money. It was me. And that loss could never be reversed. Every year brought another reminder. Photos from family vacations. Anniversary celebrations. Pictures of me laughing beside Mark. Pictures of our children growing up. The life Jason could have had. The future he traded away. One winter evening, years later, he saw us at a charity gala. Our daughter ran into my arms. Our son proudly showed Mark a drawing he'd made. Mark kissed my forehead as naturally as breathing. There was no performance. No grand gesture. Just a family at peace. Jason stood across the room watching. An old acquaintance recognized him. Still thinking about Sarah? Jason stared at us for a long moment. Then gave a quiet laugh. Some mistakes follow you forever. The man glanced toward me. After all this time? Jason looked at the wheelchair beside him. Then at the empty space where Lily used to sit. Finally, he said, I spent years believing she was lucky to have me. His gaze never left our family. Turns out I was the lucky one. The realization stayed with him long after the gala ended. Long after the scandals faded. Long after people stopped talking about his downfall. Because every morning brought the same truth. He had thrown away the person who loved him most. And she went on to build a happier life without him.